Something I actually got to do when I played his white-red deck at Washington State's. You know, that actually interaction came up, and it kind of clicked for me. I was like, wow, that's actually, the 3/1/1s. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, people don't have main deck Arc Lightning, so it's pretty much safe. Almost all the removal is just going to be 1-for-1s. And if they're sitting there with reactive cards in hand, generating 3/1/1s, so much better than casting a 3/3.
Yeah, it's just going to die to Lightning Strike anyway. So really good deck building there from Nelson. And we'll see if Raise the Alarm maybe plays that role in this matchup as well.
Well, Raise the Alarm is not going to do a lot of surprise blocking in this matchup, although it may catch a Rabble Master. But again, it's still just something that generates a lot of threats on turns where Aaron is leaving up mana to react to a single threat.
Yeah, the surprise blocking I don't think is going to happen, but the fact that it can make a couple of creatures that he can't really just pick off efficiently is going to be the big problem here. Glick, again, sitting here at 6-0, starts things off, with a Temple of Triumph. Looks like he's got a 2-mana spell. He's got himself a Seeker of the Way, so you have to imagine Nelson knows what he's up against now. Hey, actually, it looks like he has Steam Augury in his deck.
Yeah, the Kevin Jones special. 2 dig through time, 2 Steam Augury, the same split that Kevin used to win the Open in New Jersey week 1 with Khans of Tarkir illegal.
Nelson going to play his own Seeker of the Way. Glick is going to play Magma Jet on the upkeep. Seeker of the Way's prowess will trigger, so it's going to be a 3/3 this turn at the very least. Along with a little lifelink action. You see Glick taking a look at his Steam Augury and the rest of the cards in his hand here. So we make our through game number 1 in round number 7. Glick will draw a card after resolving the scry. He did leave one on top and one on bottom. Jeskai Charm is the card he's drawn for the turn. So an attack here for 3 will put Aaron up to 23, Nelson down to 17. And for Aaron, we have to see if he's got that third land.
Well, he did scry a Jeskai Charm to the top, so it would be curious if he did not have another land to play.
Oh, there it is. Mystic Monastery. He's good to go. Nelson going to play a Swamp, 3 mana. This might be a Herald of Torment, and it is. 3/3 flyer. At the ready to maybe trade here with the Seeker of the Way. We'll see as Shivan Reef comes rolling off the top of Glick's deck.
So he has the option of just attacking here and trading inside of combat by, say, cast a Steam Augury if Brad goes in and blocks, or he can just clear this out of the way.
He's going to play a Chandra. That's not so bad either.
Yep, this is kind of the best of both worlds, where there's no trading involved because he can make the Herald unable to block. He still gets his prowess trigger, gets in 3 points of damage, +1 from the Chandra, and gets to leave his Jeskai Charm and other burn spells in hand.
Pretty good turn all around. Nelson going to untap. Will draw a card here. Of course, has to take 1 from the Herald on upkeep as well. But he'll gain it right back with the Scoured Barrens. Now here's an attack with the Herald. Chandra's going to go down to 2. And Nelson will pass the turn back.
Most likely representing a removal spell, though. I think the card in hand maybe Raise the Alarm.
Catch him off guard. Glick does draw a card for the turn. Again, he does have Steam Augury, and it looks like 2 copies of Jeskai Charm in grip now. Going to press the 0 button on Chandra. Lightning Strike is what he's found.
The 0 button on Chandra, I get it this turn because the 1 point damage maybe doesn't matter that much, but Aaron's hand is so clogged with 3s and 4s that I almost would rather just plus and deploy one of the expensive cards in hand.
There goes the Herald. Here comes the attack. Let's see if Nelson's going to take all this damage this turn, or maybe he's going to try to jump in front of this Seeker with a Raise the Alarm token. 2 soldiers incoming.
I think Brad feels he needs to just take care of the Chandra this turn.
Yeah. So there are your soldiers. No blocks. Goes down to 10. Nelson going to draw a card here. Not sure if he has Wingmate Rock or not yet.
I believe he does, and I believe he has a 5th land as well.
That's a good place to be in if that's the case. Looks like the attackers, both soldier tokens, are going to go after Chandra. Mission accomplished there. This looks to be the 5th land. I think one thing that Nelson may be worried about here is a card like Nullify, which is picking up in popularity in these Jeskai builds. But there's Nerdboard, and there is the Rock. So that's going to come in along with its buddy.
Thing is, Brad's life total is getting low enough here that I don't feel he can really afford to mess around. And Raise the Alarm Wingmate Rock is nice for a couple of reasons. One is it's natural synergy. You can fulfill raid very easily. But the other, when you're playing against decks with Wingmate Rock, when they don't have a creature that's viable to attack on your turn, you say, all right, I don't have to worry about Wingmate Rock. I can kind of play around some other things. Raise the Alarm getting some surprise attackers really changes the way that other people have to approach the matchup.
Looks like Nelson will block here with the token. Says, Seeker, do your worst. You're just a 2/2. Can you become a 4-power creature? Looks like Aaron is going to try. So he's going to cast Jeskai Charm. And that allows him to make it a 4/4 creature, use the +1/+1 on lifelink, and then trigger the prowess. But I imagine that Brad's okay with that exchange because that's not his real rock dying.
All he wants to do is gain a little bit of life and keep his board intact. So trading 1 for 1 with one of the tokens there, Brad's thrilled and gets to gain 3 life right now on the attack back.
Deal 5 points of damage, going to knock Glick down to 28. Glick does have a lot of life at this point. Don't have a great look in Nelson's hand outside of that Raise the Alarm that he's got in the grip. He's just going to pass the turn back. Glick will draw a card here. Shivan Reef comes rolling off the top.
Booster draft number 14.
You can see the power of Wingmate Rock. It is quite the magic card.
And this sort of circles back to the issue that I had with the Chandra earlier, where, again, Aaron is just bottlenecked with cards in hand that he can't efficiently deploy.
Here's 4 mana. That'll be a Stoke the Flame. It's going to go after the Wingmate Rock. That'll also trigger Prowess as well. And I imagine Brad was hoping to keep that around, as that's one of the few cards that can get that thing off the table. See him kind of thumbing back and forth between the cards in his hand. And he says, I'm going to Bile Blight that Seeker now. Make sure it doesn't do anything too crazy. Here's another copy of Raise the Alarm, so 2 more soldier tokens incoming here for Nelson. Now he's going to try to pick up the pace a little bit.
Problem is, Aaron is at a very high life total here. He's gained a lot from that Seeker.
Feels like Nelson's best draw, probably Wingmate Rock.
Yep. And 4X in this deck, which we haven't really seen before. Most of the Obzon decks, they play 2, maybe they have a 3rd in the sideboard. Brad's trying to maximize this card, as he mentioned earlier.
I got a feeling we might be working our way towards that. 4 Wingmate Rocks happening in the format.
Need to play a lot more attackers, I think, than the Obzon decks currently do to reliably get the raid trigger to happen. Raise the Alarm definitely tips the scales. Then you can start playing 4.
Yeah. I think the thing that Brad is deciding here is, what's the best way for me to try to attack this turn? So I think one of the cards right now in his hand is Herald of Torment. And is it time to bestow that, or do I just play that normally, maybe as a blocker, so I don't get hit by a Mantis Rider? Well, that's what Nelson's trying to decide right now.
13 is a particularly interesting life total because, you know, he goes to 12. Well, now all of a sudden, 3/4 damage spells kill him. Going to 11 means that Jeskai Charm plus Stoke plus Lightning Strike. 13 is a very safe light total against Jeskai aggro because they can only deal damage in maximum increments of 4. So this 1 point of damage that Brad's accepting here is a big deal.
See Magma Jet and Jeskai Charm over there. But Nelson did opt to bestow and give the beatdowns. The way the math works out for Nelson is actually pretty interesting too, as he's going to take 1 and go down to 12. He's attacking for increments of 7 right now. That's a 3-turn clock. Here's another attack for 7. Glick's going to go down to 14. We'll see if Nelson found something nice to cast this turn. 2 mana. That's a Seeker of the Way. That one's pretty important.
It is something that has the potential to undo a lot of the math that I spoke of.
Magma Jet. Looks like that may be going upstairs, and it is. Glick going to take a look at least to Stoke the Flames. Consult the grip here as well. We know he's got a Jeskai Charm. Might be able to finish this one off pretty soon. The one card he hasn't cast that he's had for a very long time is Steam Augury.
He just has not had the time. And I'd be surprised if it gets cast this game in a game where Aaron still has the opportunity to win.
1 to the top, 1 to the bottom. Glick looks like he's going to take 1 maybe to cast his Jeskai Charm. Down to 13 he's going to go. 4 damage going upstairs. Nelson down to 6.
Which now means that Herald Torment is knocking him down to 5.
Didn't get a great look at what Glick drew. But he will just pass the turn back. Nelson's going to untap all those creatures. He'll draw a card. Didn't get a great look at his draw.
He could really use a spell to trigger Prowess, but funny enough, I think it's Bile Blight, which lines up very poorly here.
It was either Bile Blight or Silence the Believers, which is also awkward.
Well, Silence the Believers, at least you can just cast on a token.
Yeah,
Bile Blight's really rough on this board.
Everybody in the club. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points of damage. Will Nelson actually cast Silence the Believers this turn? What makes Silence the Believers so interesting is the fact that I'm sure he would like to cast this. As here's Jeskai Charm. But he has to be wary of a card like Mantis Rider. And there's more burn. Burn, burn, burn all day long. So that's going to do it. You saw Charm and Stoke the Flames take down Nelson. Aaron Glick does win game number 1 with the burnout plan of Jeskai aggro. That's what makes the deck so tough. You get in just a couple of points with the creatures, and then the burn will finish you off.
Even a game where Brad got to squeeze a lot of value out of a Wingmate Rock and gain some life, Aaron was still able to overpower it.
Time to take a look at the boards here. We're going to start with Nelson. He's got 2 Reprisals, 2 Erase, 3 Soldier of the Pantheon, an Elspeth Sun's Champion, 3 Drought and Sorrow, a Silence of Believers, a Suspension Field, then 2 copies of Thoughtseize. Anything you like in this matchup in particular?
I think Soldier of the Pantheon is okay. There's, you want to be a little bit more aggressive, I think. There are some gold cards in the Jeskai aggro deck. And again, I think he just needs to speed things up a little bit. Besides that, I'm really struggling. There doesn't seem to be a lot of good cards for the matchup here.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, I don't see a ton outside of Soldier, and I don't feel like you're reaching on Soldier, but it's not great.
Yeah,
it's just okay.
It's just okay.
What do we see on Aaron's side of it? Let's see if he's going maybe the control route.
3 Erase, 2 Negate, a Karanos, a Narset, 3 Disdainful Strokes, 2 Anger of the God, 2 Magma Spray, 1 Sarkin. So I think we could go into some sort of control deck. The problem is that I think Aaron can't be positive how good Anger of the Gods is against Brad, although he played enough token generation that it's probably fine. The Disdainful Strokes, I think, are definitely coming in because Wingmate Rock is a huge issue for Aaron. And I think he might go to the Narset and the Karanos as well. I don't think he's necessarily going to go into the full control conversion, but I do like some of these slower cards in the matchup.
Well, while we do wait for game number 2, we're going to talk about Star City Games game night. The Ooze is, it's all the rage nowadays, but unfortunately, this is the last weekend that you can get it because it's almost November and this ends in October.
Right, just fun, friendly play here. We initially scheduled these for Wednesday night. We're moving away from that just to give stores maximum flexibility to customize whatever they want to do for their local player base. We send out these packets of foils and pins every month, new packets every month. StarCityGames.com/game night for more information. Make sure to sign up as soon as possible. I would assume by now that you've missed the deadline for November signups, but you can definitely get on board for December.
Pins and tokens. Every week in October is when you can get the Ooze. But October is over next week. We'll be in Oakland to start November, and I'm hoping that there's a turkey token. I was talking to some people on Twitter about what our turkey card in Magic is, or the closest one. Looks like it's Bronze Beak Moa.
What is that?
Did you play that?
Bronze Beak Moa? No, I don't think so.
I think you did. I think you played when Bronze Beak Moa was a thing.
Do you mean Hunting Moa?
I do not mean Hunting Moa, though. Oh, wow, Hunting Moa. That dished out counters.
Yes.
I remember that, and it had Echo.
Yes.
Yeah, see, I still got it.
One on the way in and one on the way out.
Bang. Bronze Beak Moa.
Okay.
This is a Gate Crash card, it's a Dragon's Maze card.
Yeah.
I think you may have hung it up before Dragon's Maze because you top aided.
I played the Pro Tour. I played in Pro Tour's Dragon's Maze.
You should know what Bronze Beak Moa is.
I would never draft a green white deck in that format.
Well, that's fair. That's probably not a good thing.
That card was super good in draft.
It was quite good. It's no Hunting Moa, as you mentioned, but
no. But what is?
I think that's an Urza's Legacy uncommon.
Urza's Destiny.
I don't have it all the way. Thought I did. Look at boy.
Yep.
I do like that this is creature type beast. So you can sacrifice that to Ravenous Baloth if you like.
That never came up in Constructed, but it is a nice option to have.
Perhaps you'd like to battle this on the old contested cliffs. I don't think it would win the war, but
I don't know. It can be a 4/3 for 3.
It can be pretty big.
At the time, that was an excellent deal.
I hope they bring back Echo soon.
They're not ever going to bring back the keyword.
Why?
You know what's really hard to sell as your keyword in marketing publications? You get to pay for your spell twice.
But your spell's pretty good. But your spell is pretty good.
They're never bringing back that keyword in a basic set.
They had varying Echo costs, which I liked.
Right, that's never coming back either.
Okay, you're tough to sell.
Well, with a new R&D team, maybe they will. But as long as the current regime is in control, they're never bringing back Echo.
You know what? I think they will bring back Echo.
Pay for your spells twice. Super fun.
I think.
What's not fun about that? Usually you only have to pay for your spells once. This time you had to pay for them twice.
I think that we're going to see Echo come back at some point. I like Echo. I like Cradle Guard. I like Pouncing Jaguar.
Because you're a spike and some of the designs are pretty powerful, but
it's not always a spike.
It's hard. I would really struggle to show Echo cards to a relatively new player and say, isn't this going to be fun to play with?
They would probably wonder why they have to pay for their spell twice.
Right.
But that's because it's so powerful.
Well, maybe.
That's why.
Sometimes they weren't even that powerful.
Some of them weren't great. I'm trying to think of the Echo Time Spiral cards that were good. The only one that jumps to mind is like Subterranean Shambler, which just came in and dealt 1 to everything.
Also, I'm not a big fan of alternate echo cost because that sort of, the name echo is no longer great. Like echo makes a lot of sense for a keyword where you're mirroring the cost.
Which is it's a softer echo. It's like when you go echo, echo, echo. That's you're paying like the 3rd echo cost.
It's why I don't like land cycling, because cycling is draw a random card, and land cycling is tutor your deck for something specific.
Nah, I'm the Spike. Here's the Thoughtseize. Jeskai Charm, Seeker of the Way.
It's just bad naming. It's just bad naming.
And 4 lands. Looks like Brad may go for the Seeker here. Yeah, he's going to take care of the creature. He knows the spells he's got to beat. Though 2 Temples are mystery cards now.
When the aggro decks convert into these counter spells plus burn type of strategies, picking apart their threats is really powerful because it's hard to burn someone out while countering a bunch of spells. They had to draw a bunch of cards for that to work.
Well, Rebel Master off the top's not a bad draw. Though Nelson did have to go down to 17 already to play that Thoughtseize. Temple Epiphany is going to leave the top card on top. Nelson will draw a card. Mannequin Fluid's even more damage, but here's a Seeker of the Way to undo it all.
Maybe if this thing dies, I think Brad's in a lot of trouble.
Let's see what the top card is. Mantis Rider. There's Temple Epiphany, so Brad knows it's pretty safe outside of a Magma Spray that came off the top of the deck, but that's not there. So Nelson will draw a card. There's Nurboard. That'll make things a little less painful. And deal himself a little bit of damage to cast his Thoughtseize, but the prowess will be triggered off of the Seeker, so he'll be okay. Brad will take a look at the grip, see a Rabble Master, see a Mantis Rider, Disdainful Stroke, Jeskai Charm, along with a Flooded Strand and a Plains, as he will record the information, and then select a card.
Pretty juicy hand, but Aaron may have the same problem that he had last game, which is just not being able to deploy his cards in an efficient order. But if Aaron can get this Seeker of the Way off the table, I think he's got a really good shot in this game. Disdainful Stroke cuts off a lot of Brad's best draws, and Brad's already taking some damage off of his lands.
The Stroke, such a powerful card. Saw Rebel Master hit the bin off of Thoughtseize. Another Mantis Rider's the draw. Yikes. We could be going to the skies here for Glick. There's Mantis Rider number 1. Nelson going to take a hit right in the face. We'll see if he has a Bile Blighter or Hero's Downfall to undo this. Looks like he does have a copy of Downfall. Yep, get that off of the table. Doesn't take any damage, of course, because Urborg is out there, but he will gain some life. So he's trying to ride this Seeker to victory.
Urborg Mana Confluence is a nice little, that's a combo deck.
Yeah, that is nice.
That is nice.
Urborg was so interesting because when it was printed in in the core set, M15, it's just like, what is this doing here? It's like, just being sweet.
Well, the first time they printed Urborg, it was alongside so many Swamps Matters designs like Tendrils and Core Lash that it was an entirely different thing. Now it's just, I guess this is kind of a weird mana fixer for certain decks.
I'm glad it's back.
Spike.
Absolutely. Glick trying to decide if he wants to block the Seeker of the Way here or not, as Nelson actually does have a copy of Raise the Alarm in hand. But this is an interaction that hasn't really come up in our standard format yet. So not sure if he blocked or not, but here's Raise the Alarm. Brad's going to take 1 to cast it, but he's going to gain some life back. The race is certainly on here.
Looks like, yeah, by the looks of things, looks like Aaron ran a no blocks, which I like with his hand of Jeskai Charm and another Mantis Rider.
Same. Mantis Rider going to come and give the beatdowns.
And I think Aaron's likely to just play a land here and pump the brakes, just because it's risky to play the second, any other follow-up here instead of leaving up his mana to interact with Brad on his turn. Doesn't want to get hit by Seeker of the Way again. That's the big risk here.
Glick going to sacrifice his Flooded Strand. Get an island out of the deck, shuffle up, and we'll see what happens here in just a moment.
And right now the pressure's on Brad to act first because of the way the board's constructed, he can't attack at all. So if he makes a move with the Seeker, Aaron gets to say, I'll block, and then play some follow-up.
There's a Temple. So he's going to sacrifice the fetch land first in case he puts his card to the bottom. He doesn't want to shuffle back in his deck, he doesn't want to draw it.
Right.
So we'll pass the turn back. Again, land, Jeskai Charm, and Disdainful Stroke, the grip here for Glick. Nelson going to play Scoured Barrens, gain a little bit of life.
And Brad knows he can't just fire off the sword here because of the Disdainful Stroke.
Glick going to draw a card, does not cast his Jeskai Charm.
I think he wants to save it as an insurance policy in case Brad makes a move with the Seeker of the Way.
Sure. 3 more in the air. We're going to tap some mana here. What do we got? A Chandra. Bye-bye Soldier token. And 1 damage to Nelson as well.
Still with Disdainful Stroke mana up.
Nelson draws a card.
Though I think a slight mistap from Aaron there, I would have kept the island available.
Yeah, because he will have to take 1 now.
Right.
To pay this. And he can't counter the Sorin fast enough. However, for Nelson, he will be attacking here. And we can't forget, Prowess has been triggered.
Yeah, it doesn't have to resolve, it just has to be cast.
Yep. So this will be a little lifelink action. But Brad's other card in his hand right now is actually a copy of Wingmate Rock. And he has the 5th land, too. So what Brad, I think, is deciding here is, okay, if I attack, will he actually block? And so what he's trying to do here is he wants to make it so that Glick doesn't block.
Right.
Because he needs it for next turn.
If there's a trade, then Aaron gets to go untap, I'll Chandra your token, and now the rock is stranded.
Yeah, no creatures. So Nelson thought long and hard about how he can attack to make it so that Glick does not block, and he has not blocked at this point. Temple of Silence is the 5th land. That top card's going to go to the bottom. Nelson's going to pass the turn back. He's up to 13, about to work his way back down to 10. Chandra's going to press the 0 button. There's a Rabble Master.
And Aaron can do all of this while holding up Jeskai Charm for next turn, which makes combat really bad for Brad. He may have to attack just to get a raid trigger, but he can't really make that much progress otherwise.
Rabble Master's going to come down. There's your token. Here's your beatdowns. See if Nelson has any interest in maybe trading token for token. It looks like the answer may be yes. So this is a very tough decision because if Glick were to, for whatever reason, decide that Jeskai Charming your Seeker of the Way is a good idea right now, the rock is stranded again.
Exactly.
And that's a tough play to see, and Nelson's hoping that he doesn't see it. And it's just looking at his Jeskai Charm as a way to deal 4 points of damage, or in case anything goes wrong with the Seeker of the Way. Nelson gonna untap and draw. Looks like it's another land. And Seeker is gonna have to come to the red zone here. If you're Glick, I think you gotta snap off a block.
Well, you still have the Jeskai. It looks like Brad's just trying to trade, right? So you get to put your Mana Strider in front, you assume he's casting a spell, and then you get to Jeskai Charm the Seeker back, and all is well in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he has to block with the Mantis Rider because he has protection even if Brad has some sort of trick.
Yeah. And he will block right away, which I think is very smart. There's Wingmate Rock. It'll come along with a buddy, but I like the way that Glick has played this game. Top card's gonna go to the bottom, pass the turn back.
Now the question is, does he want to get that token off the table?
Yeah.
He can also, I suppose, just untap, make a token, ping something with Chandra, and commit to using the +1/+1 in lifelink mode.
Yeah, I think that Glick probably has this game won. Because even if he does this, that goes out of play. He gets to untap. He gets to draw a card. He gets to up Chandra, make it so the rock can't block. So that's 1 damage.
He has it covered in a couple different ways. I think there's some ways that are safer than others, but he does have the tools to win this game, I believe.
I think it's very realistic that Nelson ends this turn at 2. Top card's going to stay on top.
I think an easier path may have been to just go untap, Chandra, ping your token, attack. You commit the actual Wingmate Rock itself to a block so it can't start gaining life, and Brad has to jump through a lot of hurdles to block without dying.
Nelson going to draw a card here. Don't have a great look at it. I imagine the best draw here is a Wingmate Rock for him, but I'm not even sure if that's going to do it, and he's going to concede the game. Aaron Glick's going to win this match over Brad Nelson. 2-0. Jeskai Aggro going to take down White-Black mid-range, giving Nelson his first loss in the weekend. He's trying to climb the leaderboard. He's got off to a great start, but picks up a loss here.